So my home gym builds and reviews have been pretty popular on my channel lately, and I think it's for good reason. I'm just like you guys when it comes to buying stuff that you can't go to a store and touch and feel. You usually turn to things like YouTube to see other people's feelings and try to get a feel for if it's worth spending your hard-earned money on or not, because you don't want to buy something just to get it in and figure out too late that it kind of sucks or there's something better out there. Now, in a lot of these videos I've been doing, a lot of people have been commenting about Titan Fitness, and I have to be honest, I have had experience with them, but it hasn't been for a couple of years, and my experience with them hasn't been very good. I've always found their products to be a lower quality, kind of cheap Chinese knockoff of what Rogue does. No offense to anyone watching in China, if they let you watch the internet. Maybe that's North Korea. A little bit of a tangent. That being said, though, one of my friends, Coop from Coop Trains or Garage Gym Reviews, who has a ton of videos on pretty much any piece of equipment that you could ever imagine, has recently reviewed a Rogue versus Titan rack, and it looks to be like they've made a ton of improvement on what they are offering. So because I'm not able to give you my opinion, I thought I'd go ahead and share his video on this fact, and also say that if there's other gym stuff that you want reviewed or haven't seen reviewed, check out his websites, which will be linked in the description box below, because chances are he's had his hands on them and he can give you some good feedback on it. So with that, let's get to the video.
This is Coop with GarageGymReviews.com here in Garage Gym 3.0. I've been doing some moving, some shaking, so sorry I haven't done any reviews, at least on the YouTube channel. Done many reviews over on the blog, but now that I'm in the new garage, 3-stall garage, I'm doing some new reviews. And this review is one of the most requested I've had, and it's one that I was very excited to do, and that is on the Rogue R3 versus the Titan T3, the reigning champ versus the budget-priced consumer contender. Let's see who wins.
Memory is a dynamic system. It's a repetition of rhythms.
So first, we're gonna start with the reigning champion, the Rogue R3. This is the rack that I personally have in my gym. This is the rack that I purchased. You know, there's a lot of options out there from Rogue. You got the R6, you got the Monster Light series, you got the Monster series. But in my opinion, I think the best power rack that you can buy for most garage gyms is the R3. So that's the one that I have. Some features about it: west side spacing through the uprights. That's kind of standard ever since Rogue came out with this. Comes with band pegs. It comes with, actually, I've got separate pull-up bars, but it comes with a dual pull-up bar. So it's got a fat side and then a skinny pull-up bar. It's just a combo bar, pull-up bar that comes with it. Powder coating. It's got the Rogue warranty, best warranty in the industry. Not just because it's lifetime, but because Rogue, at least in my opinion, is going to be around a long time. So that's just as important as the warranty they offer. So this bad boy, if anything ever happens with it, Rogue has the best customer service out there, okay? They're basically the LL Bean of the fitness industry, in my opinion. Heavy duty, bolted to the floor, welded unit, okay? It's a basic power rack, and there's a lot you can do with it. One of the greatest things about Rogue equipment is all the attachments they have. For instance, these are the monolift arms, okay? You can have pull-up globes. This is a neutral grip pull-up bar. This is actually a spinning pull-up bar, not made by Rogue, but they've got it. And then I've got Matador horns, so you can do dips on them, plate post storage. Basically, anything within the Infinity line at Rogue Fitness, you can add to this rack and beef it out, okay? That's one of the greatest things about Rogue is their attachments. So they have all kinds of attachments, are always coming up with new attachments, and if they're within your line, which is the Infinity line, then you can add them to your rack, okay? Now, some disadvantages, in my opinion, from the Rogue rack. It's expensive, okay? So if you're buying Rogue, you're buying really the best out there, so you're gonna be paying for that. In my opinion, you get what you pay for. That's what happens when it comes with Rogue, okay? You're getting their customer service, you're getting their great quality. You don't really ever see quality control issues with Rogue. You know, their stuff lasts forever. Their powder coat is heavy duty. Some of the companies out there, their powder coat is kind of flaky and cheap. It's just a solid rack, okay? This is the original, and really, for a standard West Side style power rack, this is the best out there. Okay, let's move to the Titan. So this is the Titan T3 power rack. I don't have it bolted to the ground now, so it looks a little bit shaky. If it was bolted, it would be, you know, just as solid as the R3. The biggest advantage of the Titan T3 is the price, okay? Titan has come out and tried to become the price leader. They want to be the bottom dollar. They want to be the Walmart of fitness equipment. And you know, there is a market for that, okay? Does everybody need, you know, a Rogue R3 rack? No, not everybody needs the heavy duty ability that the Rogue R3 offers. A lot of people could benefit from a cheaper rack that, you know, is gonna get the job done just as well. Okay, the difference is that rack could probably hold maybe a little bit more weight. I don't know, it's similar gauge steel. That one is welded together, so that may be an advantage as far as weight, but many of you guys out there aren't gonna be squatting 1,000 pounds in this rack, okay? Or doing 1,000-pound rack pulls, okay? So this rack is gonna be more than able to handle what you're gonna throw at it. Okay, so the rack itself is very cheap. They have free shipping. I think it's around $400, $500 maybe. The Rogue R3 is around $700, and then you have to add in shipping. So much cheaper this rack is. And it comes with a lot of features that, you know, the Rogue R3 rack comes with, or you have to pay additional for. For instance, it's got pin post safeties. Okay, R3 rack comes with pin post safeties as well. But some things that the R3 rack does not come with is it has separate pull-up bars. So it has one fat bar and one skinny bar. Okay, the R3 rack comes with a fat and skinny, but they come separately. Okay, the next thing is it's got plate posts. So right here I've got plate posts on both sides, and it comes with 4 plate posts that you can put in the rack, and it comes with the rack. Okay, you don't have to pay any extra for that. If you're going to go to Rogue, you're going to pay around, you know, 25, 30, 40 bucks for a pair of plate posts. Okay, these come with it, and they come with 4 of them. Okay, that's a lot. You don't need that many plate posts, usually. So, also featured, it's a bolt together construction. It's got a little bit bigger hardware than what comes with the Rogue rack. So the attachments with the T3 will not work with the Rogue rack, and the Rogue attachments will probably work with the T3, although there might be a little bit of play in the holes, so not too big of a deal. The one biggest disadvantage that I see between the T3 and the R3 is the powder coat. The powder coat on the T3 is not to the same standard as it is on the Rogue rack. Okay, this is a glossy finish, and from what I've seen is it scratches much quicker than it does on the R3. Now, if you're wanting to keep a super clean rack, you know, and you don't want it to look, you know, bad, you know, that's an advantage of the R3. That said, does it really matter? You know, you're throwing weight around. I don't think it matters very much. So the Titan T3 is a bolt together rack, which means it's gonna shake a little bit more. But that said, if you have like say uneven, a sloped driveway or an uneven concrete, wherever you're putting it, you know, sometimes the bolt together construction can be better because you can loosen certain parts and adjust it so that, you know, it plays with whatever, you know, surface you're on. Whereas the R3, it's welded together, so that's where it's gonna be, okay? The welded together is obviously gonna be stronger, but that said, you know, like I've said many times, you're not gonna face much of an issue with it not being too heavy duty of a rack on either of these. So the question comes down to which rack should you buy? Okay, well that question comes down to how much you wanna spend. Do you want the absolute best in category? Go with the R3. Okay, the R3 is the best rack that I think that you can buy for its size that's out there. If you want to not spend as much, but you still want a good rack and it's gonna perform well and it's gonna last you, you know, it's gonna last you the rest of your life, you'll be able to pass this down to your kids, I think. Then go with the Titan T3, okay? Rogue has squat stands out there that, you know, are similar price to what the Titan T3 is, but in my opinion, I would much rather have a power rack. But this has been Coop with GarageGymReviews.com. I'll link a full in-depth article that I've done below where you can check it out, and we'll see you next time.